Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about web development, what it is, what are web developers, and what are the different tools used by web developers. So first of all, what is web development? Web development is the process of constructing a website, ensuring the infrastructure of a website is stable, secure, and functional. A lack of strong website development puts websites at risk of not functioning properly, losing traffic, decreased sales, and possibly some security concerns. It's also worth noting that consumer purchase decisions are increasingly determined by the user experience on our websites. Web development ensures that the purchasing process is smooth for e-commerce websites and everything is functioning efficiently behind the scenes. There are many methods for constructing a website. They can be built manually with in-depth handwritten code or with free and user-friendly platforms like WordPress. Pre-built website development platforms like WordPress are known as WYSIWYG editors. What you see is what you get, where you basically just have to drag website elements into place. Building a website from scratch is much more difficult and requires a lot more practice, but even the pre-built website templates still take some patience and knowledge and understanding as well. In today's digital marketplace, pursuing a strong, stable, and secure functional web development process can make that critical difference between success and failure. Website development is actually one of the services we provide at ProfileTree, and it's part of our range of website services that includes design, website development, website hosting and management, and search engine optimization. But website development refers to the actual building and construction of a website. So the people that are actually involved in the development process are known as web developers. As technology is constantly changing and evolving, the lines between a web developer and a web designer are getting blurred. But the key differences between web design and web development still is pretty simple. Web design is widely misunderstood by small businesses, but the core goal of a business website design is to attract new visitors and turn them into customers. But web designers are essentially in charge of the layout and the look of your website. They're experts in design principles, user experience or UX, and they are responsible for ensuring that your website is designed in a way that is easy for the users to navigate around your site, that all the colors are used in the correct way to attract customers to different parts of your website. Everything then moves into web development. Once the design is signed over, the project goes into web development, which is essentially when the project is actually being built. Website development refers to the actual building and construction of a website. So the person that is in charge of the web development part of your website is a web developer. A web developer is essentially the architect of your website. They construct and manage the website, ensuring that it has a strong core infrastructure. Web developers are highly skilled in creating websites through a variety of platforms and programs. Their main aim is to ensure that the website functions properly and securely. Website developers ensure web navigation is smooth, they fix any hosting issues, they create URLs, they optimize SEO practices across your website, they increase performance, increase capacity, and ensure security and functionality as well. Websites should be functional as well as aesthetically pleasing, so creating a strong and engaging website is a complex process, but a poorly developed website will frustrate visitors and may even affect your brand's reputation and potential sales. A skilled web developer will create a high-performing website that best suits your business and industry needs. A lot of these technical web development terms may feel like jargon, and it can be quite overwhelming if you're thinking of creating or maintaining a business website. At ProfileTree, we have a track record in creating bespoke websites for businesses. We can provide you with a team of expert web designers and developers who will work with you to ensure your business has an engaging website on a high standard. We also offer courses and training sessions where you can learn how to manage your website based on the platform it's on. Get in touch today to discuss the kind of website you would like to create and manage today. So when it comes to web developers, there are 3 different types. There's front-end, back-end, and full-stack developers. So front-end developers are proficient in coding languages like HTML, JavaScript, or CSS code. Many of these are also trained in graphic design programs like Photoshop or Adobe Premiere Pro. Front-end web developers consider website layout and formatting, structure and design, maneuvers throughout the site functionality, site navigation, internal links, and external links. They're concerned with the visual and interactive aspects of a website, although it's more than just making a website look appealing. Front-end web developers create familiar layouts of our favorite publications and sites, making visitors feel familiar with your web page so that they can preempt the navigation paths and explore your business. Front-end web development can be an exciting, in-demand, and also a high-paying career. And even knowing the fundamental skills, it's easy to kind of get started as a developer. It's important when you're starting out learning development skills that you have the right tools as well. The tools used by front-end developers are the same. Can be the same tools used by back-end developers as well. Back-end developers tend to focus more on the infrastructure and technical aspects of building a website. Their role involves investigating different designs for businesses and figuring out which design works best for the client's needs and target audience also. Back-end developers also manage website security, manage website hosting, monitor site traffic, monitor website speed, process data, maintain mechanisms that perform web actions, and debug sites. They stay on top of web development trends and implement tactics to stay competitive in the online marketplace as well. Full-stack developers are just that, they're full-stack. Working on everything from back-end to front-end development, they have a wider range of web development skills and are able to manage construction of a website from beginning to the end. Often web full-stack developers will have more in-depth experience in the role of software and web development. They're also proficient in the following areas, things like hosting environments, web servers and network capabilities, databases, both relational and correlational, application program interfaces, correlation between user interface and user experience, quality assurance, website and program security as well. Full stack development is also offered as an agency service as well, where a client can pay for full stack development from an agency, but the actual front end and back end process may be handled by different members of staff or even different internal teams. So as mentioned before, it's really important when you get started as a web developer, whether you're front end or back end, that you have the essential tools needed to ensure success as a developer. The first kind of tool that you need are something called code editors. So as a developer, you spend most of your day in your code editor because it's the place where you actually write the code for your sites. All editors provide the plain text format needed for your code to be interpreted as a website. One of the best editors out there is an editor called Atom. Atom streamlines your work by letting you customize it with thousands of add-ons. So if you go into packages and go into add-on beautifier, you can also go into package manager as well, and you can go into community packages and add lots of things to kind of design and set up the editor to exactly how you need it. So the tool that you use the most looks and works exactly the way you want it to. And because Atom was built by the same company that created Git and GitHub, we'll talk about GitHub and later in the video, you can also access these tools directly via Atom, so you can use version control directly with Git as well. Another really popular one is Visual Studio Code. It's another really popular editor, and it lets you move quickly through your code. You can multi-select to save keystrokes, add highlight to easily spot similar sections of code. It's relatively new, but it's a very powerful editor. It has features like IntelliSense for smart auto completion of your code as well. It also has a built-in debugger as well for fewer mistakes, and they also have live code for working with other developers in the same editor. So if you're working in a team, then Visual Studio Code works really well with that, because you can add more than one people to the same project as well. Other top code editors include Sublime Text. Again, similar with Visual Studio Code, another much loved editor, and it also has a go to anything feature, which lets you move quickly throughout your code as well. And again, you can multi-select to save keystrokes and highlight to easily spot similar sections of code as well. Those three are really popular editors. There are thousands of editors out there as well. Those are just three that we would kind of recommend as well. The next thing you want to think about are something called version control systems. Even if you're freelancing, but especially if you're part of a team, you need a reliable version control system, and a version control system will essentially allow you to keep track of all the changes you've made to your code over time, because at some point you'll definitely need to check or even revert to an earlier version of your code base. Git is a top choice for version control systems. It's by far the most well-supported and frequently chosen system nowadays. Git will allow everyone on your team to work on the same file in the same project simultaneously without worrying that you might be overwriting someone else's work. It gives developers more freedom to work whenever and wherever, since everyone has a local copy of the code, which is everything that every developer needs. So again, version control allows a team of developers to work on the same project at the same time, and it keeps track of every change made to every file over time. At any time, the developer can commit to a batch of changes or roll back to a previous version when there is a problem. The system can also deal with conflicts when two developers edit the same file. It's a very popular version control system that allows multiple users work on the same code base. So the way GitHub works is that every single project is hosted on GitHub, and it's called a repository, and anyone can sign up for an account on GitHub, and they can add other users to their repository so that they can collaborate together on a development project. The users can create something called a fork, otherwise known as a copy of the project, and work on it on their own computer. They can then request changes for their changes to be merged with the main project. The project owner can accept or reject those changes. If you are a developer, a WordPress developer, GitHub can be used to host your plugins and themes, and it will also allow you to collaborate with teams, get feedback, and let others review your code as well. It also means that WordPress users can download these plugins and themes from GitHub and use them on their own websites. GitHub isn't just used for code, it's also a really large social networking site for developers and programmers. It allows users to follow each other, subscribe to updates from projects, and give them a star rating. This feature allows users to receive updates for the projects they're interested in or stay in touch with coworkers and collaborators. It can also be used for writing projects where collaboration and version controls are useful. Software manuals and documentation, learning resources, and other writing projects are regularly created on GitHub. Version control systems and code editors are used by both front-end and back-end web developers alike. In terms of other tools that are used by developers, mainly front-end developers, or any tools related to front-end assets. So the previous tools are good for setting up the code of your site. You also want to make sure that you're using graphics and fonts and icons that are appropriate to your website as well. There are literally tons of front-end assets available, so there's always something to fit the look and feel of something that you build. One example of front-end assets that you might need are fonts. Google Fonts is a really good front-end asset for the incredible selection that it provides for your site typography. Font Awesome as well is another one. They have a vast array of icons, and it offers 1,000 icons for free and 7,000 on the paid plan as well. So the font, it's really important that you pick the right website font for your site, as the right font will help deliver your message. It will help reinforce your message as well. Fonts can help your visitors navigate your site, and good use of fonts and different font weights will help you guide your visitors and make sure that they are quickly and easily understanding the content on your site as well. So again, Google Fonts have a vast library of different fonts that you can use and different fonts that you can pair as well. Google Fonts is a tool used mainly by front-end developers. It's not something back-end developers would use. It's also used by designers as well. So depending on your skill set, depending on your technical background, you're either going to use it as a designer or you can use it as a front-end developer as well. Another type of asset that you might need is different kind of icons and graphics as well. So the best place for that is Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is a font and icon toolkit, and based on CSS and less. As of 2020, Font Awesome was used by 38% of sites that use third-party font scripts as well. That actually makes Font Awesome in second place after Google Fonts as well. So it's used. It's used as an icon set that gives you scalable vector images that you can customize with CSS as well. Font Awesome have a free plan that lets you get going right away, but they also have a pro plan as well that have a lot more features. But essentially Font Awesome is used to add some graphics onto your site. Adding icons and graphics like that onto your site makes the site a little bit more user-friendly, helps break up out text, and just overall improves the aesthetic, makes your site a bit more aesthetically pleasing as well. It's definitely a tool used by a lot of developers, by a lot of front-end developers, but also designers as well. Another front-end asset that you might need as a developer and even as a designer is different imagery for your site. So images help break up text on your site. It helps fill in some white space and things like that. However, it's not always possible to get the exact image that you want, and sometimes you need some placeholder images as well. Websites like Unsplash will give you high resolution images, really good quality images that are free to use as well. And they're really good quality. So what you need to do is go into Unsplash and then just search for a topic that you want to have images for, and then you can just click into the image and then either save them or download them as well. You can download all of these for free, and you can download different sizes as well. It's really important though when you are uploading images from Unsplash onto your website, that you compress them first and then upload them, or once they're uploaded, make sure that you're using an image compressor like Smush to make sure that the file size of your images is less, because images from Unsplash can be a little bit heavy, so you want to make sure that they're compressed properly first. But yeah, Unsplash is widely used to add some imagery to your site. Some cases where adding imagery from Unsplash might not work would be if you wanted to add product images. So when you're adding product images, you want to make sure that you're using the actual images of the product, so that people know exactly what they're buying. It wouldn't make sense to use placeholder images or images from Unsplash as well, so just to make sure of that. So those are more tools relating to front-end developers. Another tool that you might need, and this is more for back-end developers, are things like developer tools. So as you build your site, often you'll want to make modifications and test how they look live in your browser before committing the changes. And you can do all of this with developer tools, often called dev tools. So dev tools are a function built into modern web browsers that let you see the code behind each section of a site right in the browser with just a few clicks. Dev tools also let you peek at the code behind any website, so they're also a really great way to learn a thing or two from other developers as well. We're using Chrome DevTools is the best because Chrome is the industry leader and DevTools is well organized and easy to use. But it can be worth checking out this feature on different browsers in any case as well. You might even find that your other browsers might do it better. To open DevTools on any website, what you want to do is click, if you're on Chrome, right click and you want to click on Inspect. And you can see all the tools here. It also just means that when you're testing out new features and functionality, if there's any error message that come up or anything that's throwing any errors and things like that, it'll come up here as well. It'll come up here under issues. So any issues that you have, whether that's any SSL issues, security issues, things like that, all of that will be flagged to you in the errors as well, and it'll also let you know where it's coming from, and then you'll be able to fix it. So the inspect element tool will kind of allow you to kind of see the code in different websites as well. Other top developer tools include Firefox Page Inspector, Microsoft Edge Developer Tools, and Safari Web Inspector as well. Another really cool thing you can do with Inspect Element is test the site's responsiveness. Responsive web design is a technique which allows you to use the same website layout and content across all different devices. Responsive design means that the visual elements automatically resize to fit the user's window. This eliminates the need for dedicated mobile pages or compromise your design to suit different devices as well. Mobile web design is the mainstream nowadays, with mobile devices being used more often than desktops around the world. Mobile-friendly web design is no longer an option. If your site doesn't work properly on mobile, your sales will suffer. These days, search engines are more concerned more than ever with how your site works on phones and tablets. The rise of mobile-first indexing means that your mobile website contributes more to your SEO than even the desktop version. So as a business, you need to ensure that your website is fully optimized for SEO, UX, and CRO across all devices. So if you have the Inspect Element tool open, as you're building the site, what you can do is open Inspect Element, and you want to click into this device toolbar here. So it's a phone and tablet icon. If you click into that, it'll open up the mobile response version of it. So what you can do is set different dimensions, and it will use those dimensions and change the viewport of the website. You can set your own custom dimensions here, or what you can do is just select one from an existing list of device dimensions, and it'll change your viewport so you can see what the website will look like on those different devices. It's not always accurate, and sometimes there are a few glitches, but it will let you know. For the most part, it works really well, and it lets you know if there's any really big problem areas, if there's some spacing and padding issues that you need to fix as well. Again, a tool used by developers, but can also be used front-end and back-end developers, but also can be used by front-end developers as well. As mentioned before, the Inspect Element tool can be a bit glitchy when you are using the mobile, when you are trying to test the different platforms. So a more accurate way of testing might be using the Browser Stack testing tool. So Browser Stack is a cloud web and mobile testing platform that provides developers with the ability to test their websites and mobile applications across on-demand browsers, operating systems, and real mobile devices as well. So with the Inspect Element tool, you're really just testing on different viewports and different device sizes. But with Browser Stack, you have access to comprehensively test your website and mobile applications on up to 2,500 real devices, and also browsers, and also different operating systems as well, replacing the need for teams to own and manage an in-house test infrastructure as well. So different web browsers will render the website differently, different platforms will render the website differently. Browser Stack will allow you to test on so many different browsers, operating systems, and things like that. Unlike the Inspect Element tools, Browser Stack isn't free. They do have several pricing plans though. Depending on your budget, this might be an extra cost that you weren't planning for. However, as mentioned before, investing in mobile-friendly design and mobile-first design is really important, as more and more users are coming onto websites on mobiles rather than desktop, and it's really easy to lose customers and lose sales that way as well. So investing in a good mobile testing platform is really important. So those are just some of the tools used by different web developers. As you can see, there's tools used by both front end and back end, but they kind of merge anyway, and it's very similar, some of the tools used by both of them as well. Web design and development go hand in hand, but broadly, web design is about the visuals and structure of your website, while development is concerned with the performance and functionality of your website as well. There's so many other tools out there. Those are just some of the few. But when you are starting out as your journey as a developer, those will be the most common ones that you'll come across, and those are some of the important ones as well. If you'd like to find out more about our web design and development packages, please contact us below. We also have lots of other videos on web design and development that you can check out if you're wanting to learn for yourself.